All right, guys, and we are back. Oh my goodness, I was just trying to check and see if we were live, and we are very much so. Very much so. So, good deal. Kudos for me. So where was I at? Yes, we should technically be out of the game right now. But fortunately enough, we are still in the game, believe it or not. Now, if you look here, there's some type of um, I don't know, spinning top, indecision type candlestick. I don't know. I think this is really kind of meaningless candlestick. I don't think it's a point to it. But hey, I got my handy dandy candlestick pattern indicator here. Let's see if it comes up as anything at all. It'd be nice if it did, but I don't think it will. Nah, nothing as of yet. Look at that. Just pretty much nothing. But now, here is the candlestick that's forming beside it, right? It's still small, still very, very, very immature, right? Will be interesting. Will be very interesting to see um, what happens with this particular candlestick here, right? Because even though we see here price has been making high, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher low. If you notice, the highs are not as high as they were before from each other, right? So when I started seeing that, it kind of lets me know that the some steam is kind of getting taken out of this market, right? And so what you should be looking for now is for the market to start moving sideways, going down a little bit, start getting that pullback. Because if you look here on the daily chart, you've been moving up. Let's see here. Really, if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8, almost 9 days going up, right? And even though there's some red candles on there, the reason why I'm saying it's up because it's still going. These candles are still in the upward formation. Okay, there we go. You switched over, right? And you see these candles are in the upward formation, right? So you have about 7 or 8 um, positive candles. So that tells me that 7 or 8 days of all this exuberance, all this happiness, all this unbridled joy, for whatever reason, that at some point in time, what goes up must do what? Come back down. Exactly. And that's what I'm anticipating this thing to do, is to come back down. That's the whole purpose for me being in this trade. It's first thing to come back down. And watch tomorrow, it'll probably go back up again. And once I get pushed out, it'll come back down. And then, of course, my heart will be broken. I'll be crying. I'll be having tears. And you guys will get a chance to laugh at me. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. So looking at this pair, once again, over the next 24, 48 hours, no, I'm saying next 24, 72 hours, we're going to find out what this thing is made out of here. There could be a continual push to hit this next resistance zone here, right? Or this thing could just go ahead and decide to fail through this resistance zone that it already went through. It's going to be interesting to see, nonetheless, right? And I think the next 24 to 72 hours is what's going to play it out. Now, will I be in the trade over the next 24 to 72 hours to be able to witness that or be able to partake in that? That's the question. And unless something drastically changed within the next 12 hours, then I will not be able to. Within the next 12, this thing needs to be at least back towards that resistance zone, the support area here. If not, then I probably want to be out of this thing tomorrow. But we'll see how it goes. Once again, this right here is the 100 to 100,000 challenge, right? And the question is, can I do it? I kind of picked I had the pair I originally was going to go in was going to be the Aussie US dollar, right? But at the time, I felt that it wasn't, the setup wasn't exactly there that I needed. And so I was going to call myself, well, I'll just go ahead and go into the US Canadian dollar. It's going to be real easy for me to trade. And lo and behold, I am getting spanked on that one right now, but that's okay. That is okay. And you know why it's okay, my friend? Because even though I'm getting spanked on it right now, I will be back. Right? Why is that? Because I'm a man with a plan, and the man with the plan trades the plan and wins the day with the plan in hand. Remember that, because I'm the man. Exactly. Makes no sense. Um. Anyway, it actually looks like it may shape up pretty good. And if you look at some of the other things that we kind of got going for us, um, U.S. dollar, dollar pulled back. Looks like it had a gap up. But it pulled back and closed the gap today. And same thing, you see this movement here, right? It went up, and it looks like now the highs are not as far as away from the highs as they used to be, and it looks like they're getting closer back to each other. And if you see right here, it actually kind of made like a double top, it looks like. So price will probably more than likely, you look how close price tested that low. So price will probably more than likely come back down and test this low. And if it's able to break that low, then you see, price continue to move down. Given the fact that we're going to have a hike again in December, I can't really foresee this thing like doing a total reversal, but I can foresee it doing having a pullback, right? Maybe a little bit of an extended pullback before buyers start coming in and pushing this thing back up again, right? So probably needs to catch its breath a little bit, and once it catches its breath, it's gonna probably go back up, and when it does, it's gonna take a lot of currency periods with it, right? One way or the other. So now if we get back to where I was at earlier, yeah, looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty freaking good, my friend. Pretty freaking good. Right? Yeah. And all we need to do is to drop. So it looks like the momentum. It looks like the potential is there for it. Right? I think that a lot of the momentum that we had that was propelling this thing upward has subsided, and I believe that now we are in a better position for this thing to go ahead and make its move in the direction that we need to make. Let's look at something real quick. I want to look at the charts not charts, but I want to look at the economic calendar for tomorrow just to see what we got on deck. Some things are still going to happen tonight. Shouldn't really affect. Let's see here. What's that? Just kind of going through this really fast. Consumer price index. Okay. All right. So for what we're trying to trade, definitely there's going to be some news that's going to come out tomorrow morning. It's going to affect the market. Consumer price index. If that reading is off, definitely expect a significant move with the U.S. dollar, and also dollar pairs, which would affect the dollar, affect our Canadian dollar trade that we got in play. That's pretty interesting. And also, too, those of you who are going to be with us when we do our London Open tomorrow as well, just kind of keep in mind that we have the consumer price index reading for the Great Britain pound, which that's definitely going to affect our pair that we're going to, those pairs that we're looking at with them as well. So it's a lot of good, interesting news that's going to be coming out here over the next 24 hours. So here's a good tip for you, right? If you haven't already placed a trade as of yet, probably want to sit on the sidelines until this information comes out, right? Then once it comes out and the market gives you some direction, then place the trade accordingly, okay? And if you're already in a trade, then I would probably adjust my stop losses and make sure that you're having a risk-free trade. So that way, if the news come out and it's counter to what you had anticipated, you're not going to be sitting there and taking a loss. All right. And if you do take a loss, it's not going to be like a real loss because you got a risk-free trade, so you're making money on the trade, right? And you're not taking a hard loss, whereas all of a sudden your account value is dipping. Okay. Um, so wow, so that's going to be pretty good. I think I feel good about this trade, even though right now it's still pulling against us. It looks like everything's setting up to make that pullback. I think the market has kind of hit an over exhausting period. Let's check the indicator real quick. Let's just kind of see what we got here. So we got a relative strength. We got an RSI. RSI is over 50. He hasn't hit like an oversold yet. Let's look at the chopsticks. Like this. That's pretty good. Okay. All right. Let's look at it on a daily chart at an hour. All right. And if you ask yourself, you say, well, Lewis, what the hell are we looking at here? Well, we're looking for crossovers, right? But typically, where your crossover occurs, that's where you're getting overextended or overheated market, and then you should start looking for points where the pair is going to start making a downturn. Now, if you notice right here, it's like crisscross, 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 right? And here's the thing about the stochastic oscillator, right? This is not really a trending type indicator. It's more of a indicator that is something that's moving sideways. So what I mean by not trending, I'm talking about if you're in an uptrend, it's not necessarily the best indicator to use or to look at. I more or less like to look at it when market's moving sideways. So it kind of helps give me an idea of, I don't say idea, gives a little bit more confirmation to go ahead and buy or sell at a particular point. And if you notice right here, right, once we get into this little sideways moving motion here, and you match it up with what's going on down here at the bottom, and you see every time the green crosses over the red, what happens? The market dumps, right? And the great thing about it, when it's dumping, is right there at a resistance line, right? And it's crossing over. So now you got added confirmation. Not only are you looking at the chart, right, and you're looking at the candlestick formations and all that good stuff, and not only are you looking at the fact that you have your support and resistance lines on deck, but now you're also looking at an indicator that says that, hey, you know what? A lot of people bought into this stuff, and now a lot of people are about to jump out. You might want to think about going with them, right? Once again, just a little added confirmation to kind of increase the probability that you'll be successful in the trade. For those of you who may be new to the channel and haven't had the opportunity to hear my lovely, lovely speech about support and resistance line, I'm going to give it to you now. It's a real treat. Call grandma and grandpa in so that way they can hear it too. Just joking. But here we go. So the point of drawing these support and resistance lines on the chart is really just to kind of help you know where you are relative to the price that's occurring on the chart itself, right? And so when you think about it in terms of when you go to the mall or you go to a building someplace, and when you walk in, one of the first thing you see is this placard on the wall, and the placard on the wall has that you are here, right? It lets you know where you are, right? Relative to all the stores and all the merchants that's in the facility. Well, same thing about your support and resistance lines, right? When you put your support and resistance lines on a chart, it's going to let you know whether you're close to a support area of support, or close to area of resistance. And you say, well, why is that important? Because you don't want to be trying to buy if you're near resistance, right? Unless you anticipate this thing is going to be a breakout, a monster breakout, right? And you don't want to try to sell when you're near support, unless, once again, you got some inside track that this thing is going to be a monster breakout, right? So when we look at these things, when they come up next to our support resistance, and then when we look at our indicators, right, hopefully these things give us more confidence in our ability and our trading ability, so that when we go in, we can trade with a little bit more confidence and say, well, hey, you know what? It's right here near support, right? Price just made a bullish candlestick. I just had confirmation in my stochastics oscillator, right? Just did a crossover, red crossover to green. I know that's definitely a buy confirmation. So guess what? I'm gonna buy on the close, and I'm gonna ride it up into my resistance area up here, because that's a good take profit for me. And then on a simple trade like that right there, right? You know, we'd be looking at what's that? 196 pips, right? But guess what, guys? We didn't make a simple trade like that. No, your friend Lou went out and did a idiot move, and he went in and did a what he's like to call a hard trade, right? And traded around here. Is this Thursday, Friday? Yep. This would be me here. I think it was here actually. No, I was here. And with anticipation that the price was coming down, because you know it had crossed over, right? To my own defense, right? It had crossed over, right? And we were at resistance, but for whatever reason, this particular pair just wants to, you know, be the bee's knees and wants to just keeps going up and cause me to look like an ass. On the first couple of days trading live with real money, but we're not worried about it. Once again, like I said before, you know, looking at the chart, looking at everything, looking at the slowdown in momentum, it does appear that this thing's about to at least have a bit of a pullback, and when it does, that will allow us to move our stop loss down, take a risk-free trade, and to lock up some profits in this particular pair here, and then potentially exit this pair and then go into another pair that's going to be a lot easier to trade and provide us a lot more pips, right? So anyway, I just wanted to get back with you guys real quick. I'm sorry for the earlier interruption, and I had to get off. I had to take that call. Just sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? I am going to end this one now right here. For those of you that's going to be up at 3 a.m. in the morning, please tune in, right? You can watch us trade the London Open, right? And with that one, we usually trade on a demo account. And I like trading that one with folks just because it gives us opportunity to look at strategies and a really kind of game plan. You know, for the trading day, right? It's a great opportunity. If you haven't ever traded the London Open before, tune in, right? You won't be disappointed. And tune back in tomorrow, right? While I give you an update as far as with this trade here. Remember, man, this right here, I'm right there on the knife's edge with this one right here, and potentially getting a margin call. So we're gonna see how that goes between today and tomorrow. And hopefully, your boy will be able to pull it out, right? Bring this thing back around and make some money, right? Anyway, listen, I always like to leave you guys with something positive, and I like to leave on a positive note, so I'm going to give you something positive. This is from the great Les Brown, right? I love listening to this guy. And he has a really positive quote, and it says, always shoot for the moon, because if you missed, at least you'd be amongst the stars. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Listen, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know how long you've been trading. I don't know what got you interested in trading, but I will tell you this right here. It can be difficult, right? And it can be hard, right? But it can also be easy, right? It all depends on what you make it. And here's the key. It's what you make it, right? So if you want it to be easy, do the hard things in life, right? Study, practice. Listen to a boring guy named Lewis that that owns Forbes Tech magazine talk to you about trading techniques and strategies, right? Go out and study, right? If you want things to be difficult in life, just keep taking the easy way out and just keep blaming everybody else and just don't try, okay? Because I tell you this right here, it may seem like crap, but you got to sit down there and you got to study different chart patterns, and you got to look at these different currency pairs, and you might even have to go and look at some fundamental information about a currency pair and stuff, and you might want to go out and party with your friends and blah, 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 right? But if you do those hard things is what's causing you to shoot for the moon, right? Because in the end, why are you doing it? You're doing it because you want a better life for yourself, you want a better life for your family, you got something to prove, right? And you shouldn't have to prove it to me. I know you got to prove it to yourself, because that's how it was with me. I had to prove it to myself. I didn't have to prove it to anybody around me. I just need to prove something to myself, that I was better than what people may have thought that I was better than what I thought I was. I was better, that I knew that I had something in me that I could do, that I could be great at, right? And that's why I stuck with it, and that's why I did it, right? And I know that you too have that same greatness within you, right? But I can't do it for you. Nobody else can do it for you. Only you can do it for yourself, right? So keep shooting for the moon. Shoot for the moon. Study your ass off. Work hard at this stuff, right? And guess what? Even if you're not the next George Soros, where you're, a billionaire trader, where you break the Bank of England or whatever with one trade, guess what? You'll be a million times better than the rest of the idiots that's out there who are not putting in the work, who are not putting in the time, who are not going out here reading and researching and trying. Okay? Anyway, listen, that was it for me. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please follow us. Check us out on social media, on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Go check out our YouTube videos. Go check out our website, ForexTechMagazine.com. There's a free course on there on how to trade. All right. And I look forward to seeing you next time. If you got any questions, hit me up at questions@ForexTechMagazine.com. All right, guys. Take care. And I will see you at 3 a.m.